This is a video on how to replace your power steering pump, which is right here from a 2003 to 2007 Honda Accord. This is a V4, but I believe the V6s are the same. The tools for this job, you're gonna need your new power steering pump, a 14 millimeter for the tensioner pulley. You're gonna need a 10 millimeter for both hoses, and then you will need a 12 millimeter for the actual power steering pump. Now, if your pump doesn't come with the pulley, you will need a 19 millimeter with your ratchet and breaker bar to get off the pulley. Now, you want to take this off before removing your power steering pump. First thing you want to do is just lift up your power steering reservoir, because it's on a little bracket. You just lift it up and just move it out of the way. Right here in this corner, just to make room to get to this pulley right here. So you're gonna need a 14 millimeter on that pulley right there, and then you wanna go down, in this case to the right for me, to loosen your belt. So once you push it downwards, your belt should just slip right off. May take a little bit of finagling, but it'll come right off. Just like so. Alright, so this one is a 10 millimeter, and then these two are 10 millimeter. So we're gonna pop this off, and then we're gonna pop that off, and then we just have two screws right here. One there, which is a 12, and then one down here, right here, if you could see it. Let me get the camera in there. Let's see. Right here, which is a 12. So once you break it off, you're gonna wanna get something to keep it from spilling everywhere. And in my case, I'm gonna use this little pad I got. Not much comes out of here, but some does. Boom. Make sure to get your O-ring too. You're gonna need that if yours doesn't come with it. All right, now we got this next one. Break them loose. And you should be able to do it by hand. So this is that one, and this is for this one. All right. And then this just pops right up. And get some of this over there. All right, we can leave it there to absorb. All right. So now we're gonna focus on the pump itself. All right, so for this bolt, you need a 12, and I'm gonna use our little cheater bar just to break it loose. Once it's broke loose, you can do it by hand, and we're just gonna leave it in there until we get the other one. Now when you take this off, try not to tip the pump, because there still is power steering fluid in here and it'll leak everywhere. All right, so your next bolt is gonna be under here. I don't know if we could see it. It's right under there. Zoom in, and there it is. Boom. All right, so we're gonna get this last screw, and then I broke it free, so you should be able to do it by hand now. So to take off your pulley from a power steering pump, what I did was I stuck a heavy duty screwdriver straight in so it could catch underneath the pump, and then I got a breaker bar, put it over my ratchet, and then I just broke it loose, because the nut spins with the pulley. So if it's not gonna let you grab it. You need something to hold the pulley screwdriver underneath so it doesn't move as you're torquing it. So once you break it loose, your nut comes off, straight off, slide it off, and you can put it on your next power steering pump. So now that our power steering pump is off, we'll clean this up and then we'll go ahead and install the new one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this on. Don't forget to pop off these two caps. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. Pop it off when you have it already installed because it does come with fluid inside of it. You're gonna get your bolts. Put the first one in. I do them hand tight on both of them before I tighten either or. So that's hand tight. Then we're gonna come down here, put the bottom one in, hand tight as well. I don't know if you could see that right there. All right, so this is our pulley. All you gotta do, slide that bad boy on, put your nut on, and then to tighten it, you're gonna have to do the same thing with your screwdriver and your ratchet and your breaker bar to get it nice and snug. So you stick your screwdriver underneath to give you some good leverage, get your breaker bar, and you get to snugging. Snugging, no hugging. All right, so now we got our pulley on, power steering pump is on, and now we just gotta put our hoses on. All right, so now you wanna pop off these caps. Like I said, there is liquid already in it, so you wanna pop those off once it's already installed. So you get your hose, you just push it straight in, boom. You get your screws right here. Finagle it a little bit so you can line it up. Hand tight. Hand tight. Until you get them both in. And then we can use our ratchet. Remember, you want these snug. Don't overdo it. Nice and snug. It is aluminum, don't overdo it. All right, it's nice and snug. Now, you're gonna get your other hose right here. All right, and then you're gonna pop off your cap. Now, don't forget your O-ring. I pulled mine out and I saved it just in case this one didn't come with one, which it didn't. And then you just push it in. And then we can go ahead and screw it down. Again, you gotta finagle it. All right. Make sure it goes in, push it in, and then you can go ahead and start ratcheting it down on it. And again, you want this snug because this is plastic. So just hand tight, a little bit tighter with your ratchet, but not too much. So now you got both of those on. All that's left is to put on our belt. All right, so I didn't take my belt all the way off, so it's still in the same pattern that it was. All I have to do is go underneath the tension pulley and then go over my power steering pump pulley. So we need our ratchet and our 14 and our breaker bar so we can get some tension off of that pulley. Just put some pressure on your tensioner and then finagle your belt just like so, and then just make sure it's in the proper position before you let it go. See that? Make sure everything's aligned. Looks good, looks good. All right, we'll let go. All right, so once you get your power steering pump on, all the hoses on, and then your belt on, last thing to do is to put your power steering reservoir back inside of your little holder. So now we're ready to start her up and get to hitting the road. That's how you change your power steering pump on a 2003 to 2007 Honda Accord.